The morning sun is bright, and the Atlantic stretches out like a sheet of turquoise silk beneath the wings of your aircraft. You are cruising comfortably at 30,000 feet. For just a moment, the world feels perfectly ordered. But then, the rhythm breaks. A subtle twitch in the controls, a flicker on the dashboard. You watch, heart hammering against your ribs, as the cockpit instruments begin an erratic, impossible dance. The needles on the gauges don't just flutter, they swing wildly, as if searching for a reality that no longer exists. Imagine the sudden, jarring crackle of white noise in your headset, drowning out the calm voice of air traffic control. You reach out to steady yourself, but the very air feels heavy, charged with an invisible tension. You look down at your primary compass, the instrument that has guided sailors and pilots for centuries, and your blood runs cold. It is spinning aimlessly, a frantic silver blur that refuses to point north. You are no longer just a traveler. You have become a participant in a mystery that has baffled the world for generations. You are entering the most infamous patch of ocean on the face of the earth. This isn't just a random spot on a chart. It is a massive, invisible trap, a geometric enigma etched into the waves. It connects the vibrant coast of Miami to the isolated beauty of Bermuda and down to the shores of Puerto Rico. Within these 3 points lies over 500,000 square miles of deep, hungry water and ancient secrets. To the casual observer, it looks like any other part of the North Atlantic. But those who know its history look at these waters with a profound sense of dread. It is a place where the rules of the physical world seem to bend, or perhaps where they simply cease to apply altogether. Every year, thousands of ships and planes cross these coordinates without incident. They carry cargo, families, and dreams across the sea. Most make it to their destination, docking safely or landing on tarmac. But some do not. There is a haunting silence that defines the Bermuda Triangle, a silence that follows the disappearance of those who simply vanish. Why do they go dark without a single distress signal? There are no mayday calls, no frantic descriptions of engine failure, no oil slicks on the surface, and no debris floating in the currents. They are there 1 second, and then they are gone. And as if the ocean itself opened a mouth and swallowed them whole. As you stare out the window, the realization begins to sink in. Beneath your feet lies a silent graveyard of steel, aluminum, and bone. The North Atlantic is not a merciful host. It doesn't just take lives. It has a terrifying habit of erasing every shred of evidence that those lives ever existed. The ships at the bottom aren't just wrecks. They are monuments to the inexplicable. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. This investigation isn't about finding easy answers or debunking ghost stories. We are here to look for the raw, uncomfortable truth behind what the world has come to call the Devil's Triangle. The tension here is palpable, a thick atmosphere that weighs on the soul. The weather in this region is a predator, capable of changing its mood in a heartbeat. One moment, the sun is shining through a cloudless sky, casting a golden glow on the waves. The next, a wall of dark, churning clouds rises from the horizon, swallowing the light and the world along with it. In these moments of sudden darkness, logic begins to fail. Your senses tell you one thing, but your instruments tell you another. And the vastness of the ocean reminds you exactly how small you are. This is only the beginning of a journey into a place where the map ends and the unknown begins. History's shadow looms large over these waters, and no story carries more weight than the afternoon of December 1945. It was a day that should have been routine. 5 Navy Avenger bombers, known as Flight 19, soared into the sky from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But these weren't rookies. These were experienced pilots led by Lieutenant Charles Taylor. The sky was a vast, clear canvas, and the mission was a simple navigation exercise. Yet, within hours, the calm was shattered by a series of radio transmissions that would haunt the Navy for decades. You can almost hear the tremor in Taylor's voice as he reported the impossible. He told the tower that both of his compasses were malfunctioning. He spoke of being lost, but it was his description of the environment that truly unsettled those listening. "Everything looks wrong," he whispered through the static. Even the ocean doesn't look like it should. It was as if the very nature of the Atlantic had shifted into something unrecognizable. The logs reveal a descent into madness. Taylor and his men flew blindly, convinced they were over the Florida Keys when they were actually drifting further into the vast Atlantic. The shore never appeared. The sun, usually a reliable guide, seemed to be in the wrong place. As their fuel gauges dipped toward empty, the desperation in the cockpit became a heavy, suffocating presence. They flew until the engines sputtered and died, disappearing into the dark waves as night fell. But the horror didn't stop with the 5 bombers. A Martin Mariner flying boat, carrying 13 rescue crew members, was immediately dispatched to find them. It climbed into the same sky, and within 20 minutes it too was gone. No debris, no oil slicks, and not a single life jacket was ever recovered. It was a double mystery that suggested the Triangle wasn't just a place where accidents happened, but a place that actively hunted those who dared to enter. Decades before the Avengers vanished, the USS Cyclops had already set a grim precedent. In March 1918, this massive coal ship, nearly 550 feet long, was navigating the heart of the Triangle with 309 people on board. It was one of the largest ships in the Navy, built to withstand the temperamental moods of the ocean. Without sending a single SOS signal, without any report of bad weather or engine trouble, the Cyclops simply ceased to exist. It didn't just sink, it vanished from the fabric of reality. Despite extensive maritime searches, no wreckage was ever found. In the deepest parts of this region, the seafloor drops away into the abyss of the Puerto Rico Trench. At nearly 5 miles deep, this trench is a silent, high-pressure vault. If a ship or a plane falls into those depths, it is gone forever, crushed by the weight of a world we can barely imagine. The pattern of these vanishings is what makes the skin crawl. It isn't always about violent storms or mechanical failure. History is littered with tales of ghost ships, vessels found drifting aimlessly under a clear sky. In many cases, rescuers found the ships in perfect condition, with sails set and food still sitting on the galley tables, yet everyone was gone. Where did the people go? Did they see something so terrifying they chose the water over the deck? Or were they plucked from the world by a force that leaves the wood and steel behind? Some pilots who survived their encounters speak of a strange, electronic fog. They describe a hazy, shimmering tunnel that seems to grip the aircraft and messing with time and space. One famous account describes a pilot who entered a cloud bank over the Bahamas and emerged near Miami only minutes later, a journey that should have taken an hour. It's as if the Triangle is a glitch in the geography of our world, a place where the veil between knowledge and our fear is so dangerously thin. As we search for answers to these mysteries, science offers a few chilling possibilities. One theory lies hidden on the dark, pressurized seafloor. Imagine massive pockets of methane hydrate gas trapped beneath the sediment. When these pockets rupture, they release gargantuan bubbles of gas that race toward the surface with violent energy. When a ship passes over one of these plumes, the water loses its buoyancy instantly. The vessel doesn't slowly take on water, it drops like a stone through a vacuum. There is no time for lifeboats or cries for help. For aircraft, a massive release of methane could alter the air density or even stall an engine with a single, invisible breath of gas. It is a terrifying, silent killer that leaves nothing behind but the cold, indifferent waves of the North Atlantic. But if the danger doesn't come from below, perhaps it descends from above. Recent satellite imagery has revealed a phenomenon known as hexagonal clouds. These strange, honeycomb-shaped formations act as meteorological air bombs. They create powerful downdrafts that can reach speeds of 170 miles per hour. These winds strike the ocean with the force of a physical hammer, generating waves over 40 feet high in a matter of seconds. For a pilot flying through the haze or a sailor navigating the blue, these air bombs would be invisible and inescapable. You wouldn't even have time to scream before the atmosphere itself crushed your vessel into the depths. It is a sudden, violent end that explains why no distress signals are ever recorded in the logs. Then, there is the matter of the Earth's own heartbeat. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the rare places on the planet where true north and magnetic north align perfectly along what is known as the agonic line. To an unseasoned navigator, this can be a fatal trap. A compass might read normally, while the vessel drifts miles off course into the most treacherous currents of the Gulf Stream. Yet, some believe the anomaly is more than just a navigational quirk. They suggest a deeper magnetic pulse emanating from the crust, a force that disrupts not just instruments, but the very electrical signals of the human brain, leading to the total disorientation reported by Charles Taylor and the many others who vanished into the blue. Skeptics will tell you that there is nothing special about this patch of water. They point to the fact that the triangle is one of the most heavily traveled shipping lanes in the world, and that statistically, the number of disappearances is no higher than in any other busy region. They blame human error and the unpredictability of nature. But statistics provide cold comfort when you consider the absolute lack of remains. In other parts of the world, wreckage eventually washes ashore. In the triangle, the silence is total. The ocean here seems to have a digestive system that consumes everything, metal, wood, and memory alike, leaving the world with nothing but questions. Why do the ships of the triangle leave no legacy but ghosts? Perhaps the real mystery isn't what is in the water, but what is in us. The human mind hates a vacuum, and when faced with the vast, dark unknown of the ocean, we fill the space with monsters and portals. We look at the map and see a trap, a mouth waiting to swallow the unwary. We are reminded that despite our satellites and our sensors, the ocean remains 95% unexplored. We are tourists in a world that does not belong to us. The Puerto Rico Trench, with its 5-mile drop into eternal darkness, is a reminder that there are places where light never reaches and where our rules of physics might as well be fairy tales. It is a haunting place where we realize we are not the masters of the earth. As your flight continues and the turquoise waters fade, you look back one last time. The horizon is deceptively calm, hiding its tragedies beneath a shimmering surface. You check your watch, relieved to see the hands moving as they should. The instruments are steady, and the world feels solid once more. But the lingering doubt remains. The mystery of the Devil's Triangle survives because the sea does not offer receipts. It only takes. As you leave the boundary, you have to ask yourself, was it luck that brought you home, or did the triangle simply decide not to take you today?